Hello, welcome back to Friendly Fire. I am your host, Sam, and I'm here with my other host.
I'm Thomas.
And we're going to talk about more employment stories because I feel like there's never enough time to talk about all of them. So we'll get back into that right after the intro. Go. Welcome back. We're here with some lovely guests. What's your name?
Izayah.
What's your name?
I'm Noah.
Amazing.
So aggressive today.
Listen, we have to get right into it.
I know you're excited. So if you're following the show, you'll know that we actually covered employment back in, I believe, episode 7 or 8 of season 2. And we've revisited topics before, but it's never been so recent. But part of the reason we want to come back is, like you said in the intro, it feels like there's never end to employment stories. It feels like just having a job is never-ending source of material because every day is just something different than the day before.
Different. So I want to just generally be like, do you have any stories that you want to mention, just like about customers that you can think of? Do you guys have any?
With customers?
Or just like...
Yeah, I mean, I used to work at Walmart.
Oh.
And there's really two customers that, not some other company, other retail company, not the one I mentioned.
No.
But there are two customers I remember from there.
It's Floor Mart.
Floor Mart. One of them was I don't know what was going on because I never figured it out. There's one customer who would come in. I started my shift at like 9 a.m.
Ew.
Left at like 6, 7. They would be there the entire day walking around the halls like the ghost of Floor Mart. And they would just not buy anything. They would just wander around. And I never got to figure out why. And there was this another one where she grabbed my arm while I was like stacking something. And she was like, don't you know like the Constitution of Sam Walton and Floor Mart? And I was like, no. And she was like, you're supposed to like introduce yourself to every customer. The customer is first. And I was like, I don't even work on the floor. I'm just trying to, stock up. And then she just kind of went off of me, and I was like, all right, that's cool.
I worked front end at Floor Mart, and I was there for at best a month, and I hated it there. For no reason other than do you have anything?
Well, I used to work at a pizza house.
Pizza house? Okay.
I was a delivery driver, and just first off, customer service jobs is already like underappreciated because people are just horrible people a lot of times. But food service, customer service, that's where it's literally the worst. I had a thing where I never worked
in food. I was like, my one thing is I'm never going to work in food service because it just looks so bad.
It is. You'll never truly understand how hangry people can get until you work at food service. People waiting on food is the quickest way to get someone mad. And it's like, being a delivery driver, it's like, it's not always my fault, but sometimes it was definitely my fault. So.
It was definitely your fault.
Yeah, you're going to deal with the worst.
What did you do to make it definitely your fault?
Sometimes stuff would happen. Like, we'd be shorthanded and I have a lot of orders. Sometimes I'll fill my car up with like 8 different orders and I'm just running around stopping at every person. So somebody calling me like, hey, where's my order at? Like, bro, you stop number 6. You know what I'm saying? I got like 5 other people.
I'm at 2. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm like 10 blocks away and 3 stops away.
It's like the bus. It's a bus.
It's a bus stop, but for pizza.
But only good thing about Pizza Hut was people canceling orders, and then you get free food, or people canceling orders.
That happened to me a couple times. Not like I didn't work there, but it was most recent when it was Super Bowl happened.
Okay.
I went to Large Caesars, and I was there and I was like, can I pick up my food? And they're like, we have an extra 2 boxes of pizza and an extra breadstick for free because they didn't come pick it up. I was like, you're serious? And they're like, yeah, we're serious. And it made me so happy. I was so excited. And then we had pizza for a really long time after that.
I almost turned into a pizza, working at a pizza place. So
I think that's the downside of working at a restaurant is that you just eat a lot of what's there.
Eat a lot of it.
Because my first ever job in high school was a breakfast restaurant, and granted I was like 15, so I was kind of an idiot. But I would work like an 8-hour shift, not really eat anything during the shift because I didn't want to eat anything during work. And I don't think to an extent we couldn't. Like we'd have a break at the end of the day, but that was still like I've been there since like 8 o'clock, and we get off at like 2. Maybe it's only 6. I don't know. Point is, You could order like under a certain amount cost value, and you could just get it for free. So if it was under like $9, you could just have it. So I'd order like a chocolate chip waffle, and after a day of like on my feet walking around the whole time, and I'd just like get home and eat like a kind of soggy chocolate chip waffle because I'd been sweating in the box. And then I got to a point where I realized that if I just kept eating chocolate chip waffles, I was going to continue to not feel good after work. And I was like, man,
I mean, that's a fair enough
work really
thing.
killed me today. It's like, no, it's the fact that I haven't eaten anything.
And you're going to turn into a chocolate chip waffle.
You're going to turn into it.
I had a lot of eggs in that like year and some change period.
Yeah, I was going to say you're scared of scrambled eggs now.
So I want to ask if you have any stories about your managers that you can think of that were just like kind of crazy. Not crazy, that's mean. Kind of aggressive. Because I have, I'm going to tell a story. My manager at, I can't even think of another version, at Kohl's.
Coals.
Charcoal.
He wasn't that bad. He was relatively fine. Like, he did his job, it was whatever. But I had been working back and forth because I started college. So I'd come back for like a couple weeks and I start working there for a while to stay on the payroll. But then something had happened and his higher up said, hey, we can't do that anymore. So during the very first hour, it was like 8 in the morning, I had an 8-hour shift that day. He walked up to me, I'm standing at the fitting rooms because this is during the pandemic and it just so like, I don't know, we had to keep track of who went in and who didn't. He approached me, there were customers in front of me and he said, hey, you can't work here anymore.
Damn.
And there were customers there and I was like, why? And he's like, because my higher up said you can't. We can't keep keeping you here if you're not going to be here for any more than like a couple days. So I ended up finishing my shift, which I shouldn't have done that, but I didn't know any better at the time. 8 hours. I cried for at least 3 of it, and the customers that were with me in like front of me when that happened, they were like, what was that for? So my managers, all the rest of the managers and my employees didn't even know. So I had to be like, hey, last day. They're like, what do you mean it's your last day? It's like, yep, nope, it's not coming back.
That's insane.
It isn't. It was
just like in the middle of especially in the middle of the floor, like.
Right. Like you think that you should at least like call them and be like, hey, you want to come back to my office like during your break? Like we need to talk about like some stuff. And I'd be like, oh my god, I'm gonna get fired. At least I'd know and I'd have anticipation. And then I'd be like, guys, I think I'm gonna get fired. But no, he just like approached me on the floor while I'm working, and
full
he's like,
spotlight on
right.
you.
And I'm like,
it's like.
you can't. Wait, we're letting you go. Sorry. I was like,
I guess there isn't that much ill will in that circumstance. I mean, obviously it's kind of a crummy thing to do, but like you didn't have any ill will against them before that.
no.
But I would have spent that last day
did a great job.
ruining that guy's life for the next like couple of days.
I
wouldn't do anything like absurdly mean, but like just kind of mess up the inventory and remove like change the sizes on hangers or something like that.
they don't even care about the sizes on hangers. If you look at a hanger and it says a size, it probably isn't. Check the tag. Anyways, do you have anything?
I mean, I remember I worked at unnamed chicken place this last summer, and I have another story maybe I'll tell later on. But when I got interviewed, I was like, this dude is awesome because my manager had like face tat, piercings, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, this guy is sick. He was really cool. And then later on, he was kind of weird about it because I mean, I have a facial piercing and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, no, you gotta hide it.
What?
You gotta hide it. And I was like, what do you mean?
Look at
he was
yourself
like,
in the face.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I didn't want to like tell him to go look in the mirror, but I was like, how come I have to hide it, but you can, but I just didn't understand
I hate,
it.
Like,
and he
like
wouldn't
that.
explain it. He was just like, you gotta hide it. And I was like, this isn't
Maybe
even
he was
like.
really jealous.
I don't know.
He just thought you looked so good.
It's just like I don't know why he chose me too, because like other people had piercings, so I don't know what was specifically about mine that he was like, nah, I hate you, so you don't get that. Just rip it out. And I was like, what do you want me to do?
Okay.
Like.
Just
flip it over real quick. It's gonna flip. So you want me to just tug it out?
Come here.
It's like I
ready
don't
to
know
go,
what you want me to do. So what I would do is I would wear like a mask when I came in. He would go to his office. I would take it off, and then I would just.
That is so funny.
Working during COVID was great. With
Oh my
masks,
God.
Oh God, yeah.
I didn't have to look anyone in the eye. It was fantastic. I could hide.
I know.
It was awesome.
It was beautiful. No one could see my facial expression, so if I was judging a customer real hard, they couldn't see it. So I didn't have to keep my customer service smile on. I could just be like,
oh yeah.
And they couldn't even tell. It was beautiful.
Yeah, COVID. Working in food in COVID was cool and bad, but I like the mess though.
Yeah.
Because I
It
was
also
definitely
just
not
felt like
smiling.
everything was a lot like cleaner.
We transferred to, it was like, oh yeah, now that people actually take cleaning things seriously, so surfaces weren't like covered in schmuck.
Yeah, well, things are different now.
Working at the retirement home, which was previously like a serving job, but we transferred into being more of a delivery service, like door to door to like the apartment rooms, and then there are also like on campus houses that they would deliver to. And they had the bus, and they would have this crew of people on the bus that at first I didn't think I was qualified enough because I thought you had to know all the addresses. You didn't. They just told you where to go. And it was genuinely the closest I feel like that I'll ever get to being in the military.
Oh.
Because it got to a certain point where they would just hand you a bag because like everything was the same in each bag, so it didn't matter like where it was going. At least for most of Code, later down the line they changed it with like their individual orders, and that got a lot more complicated. But it was like, all right, we got 2 at this door, 1 at this door, 1 at this door. You go, and it was like the bus would stop, doors would open, we'd get off, like not run in, but like walk in pretty quick, drop it, come back out. And it was like, it got to a point where it was so organized that most people knew what we were doing before we were doing it. It felt very much like a military operation. I don't think it actually was like a military operation, but it felt pretty cool when you're doing something like that big of a scale. Because we were delivering to like 3 different neighborhoods, like every single house in the span of like an hour flat. So, and on that, we're gonna go to another segment of your favorite bingo brain. In this,
Is that what it's called now?
It's just gonna be bingo brain.
Okay.
We can't, when we think of something better, the name will change.
It'll change eventually. Anyways, we're gonna send it to Sam and Thomas of the past or the future, whichever one we decide. Go.
Bingo brain.
Bang brain.
Bingo brain.
Whatever it's called. 2.
No, it's 69.
It's on the other side. Clowns.
Clowns? Dude, I hate
I
clowns.
hate clowns.
I don't hate clowns because I'm afraid of them. I hate them because I think that they're probably making more money than I am.
I think that 2016 gave clowns a bad reputation.
Oh, 100%.
Like, they didn't deserve that. Honestly, I support them. I hate clowns and everything they do, except for if they kill people. Don't do that.
Harmful clown stereotypes have been perpetuated in this country for far too long, and we're here to end that rational set of minds.
Today, our campaign is to do...
Our campaign is to humanize the clowns.
Humanize the clowns.
Because frankly, they don't deserve it.
No. Did you know that in clown school that exists and is real?
I could have gone to clown school? This sucks.
It is a thing that when a clown graduates clown school, they paint their the face that they paint on their face paint on an egg, and they put it in a little box. So all of they're different because they have to be unique. Clown faces if you go to clown school. The big scary bad murder ones are in that. I think it's a museum of sorts, but I'm not sure. Clown museum.
The Clown Hall of Fame.
Who do I think I'm thinking that I could be a clown? Let's be real here. Well, I could be. I think you would make a good
You'd be a
clown.
mediocre clown.
That's like the worst insult I've ever heard in my life. That is, I'm like genuinely distraught.
That's
Okay.
what's funny. Anyways, back to the episode.
Clowns.
Clowns.
I hate them because they scare me.
Welcome back from the past or the future, whichever one it ended up being. So the question that I wanted is how, I know everyone cut corners and everyone found a way to not do their jobs while they're at the jobs. I want to know how you guys went about doing that. Tell me your secrets. Where did you hide? What did you do? Tell me.
Me in this retail establishment known as, what was it, Floor Mart?
Floor Mart.
Well, I worked in the back, so obviously I didn't have to always be on floor. But
jealous.
I had one manager. I really just worked alone, so the one manager overlooking me was kind of always on me and kind of checking to make sure I was doing stuff. But what I found out is the little milk aisle, dairy aisle. Mm-hmm. So there's a section behind that where obviously we put in the milk and stuff.
They hide the milkman.
Yes. Well, to get in there, you have to click a button and a little gate rolls up real slow and it makes a noise. And then you click it again and it rolls down. So what I would do is I would hide in the dairy section for like half my shift. And I would just hide like behind the cart. So even if someone pulled up the gate, they wouldn't see me. And I also knew they were there so I could get to work. So I would be listening to like podcasts and stuff, low key in there. But I mean, I would still get most of my job done.
You still do it, but I would
to be fair, if you worked retail,
there's times
half of your job is just
just
slacking off. Because you get your job done. I got done, came in at like 9, I got it done by like 11, 12. And then I had nothing to do, but they wanted me to stay and look busy.
Yeah.
So I would just hide in there, and then I would get breaks. I would go outside for like straight 30 minutes. I would come inside 30 minutes. I would walk around the floor 30 minutes. And it was just, I just got paid to do nothing. And there was nothing to do, though.
Sounds like the greatest job
working
ever,
front end at Floor Mart was the opposite of that. It was always busy, and there were managers everywhere. And the worst part was when, you know how at the end when you check out, there's like the rate your experience at Floor Mart.
Yeah.
We had to start like asking people to do it because nobody would. We'd be like, hey, can you fill that out for us? And I once had a guy look me in my eyes, give a 1-star rating, and leave. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough.
Was it me?
No,
Could have been me.
it was not you. But my story is more so when I worked at not Kohl's, charcoal.
That's what I heard from the front a lot. Is that it was a whole different experience.
Before it was horrible. But I worked in the fitting room a lot during COVID because we had to keep an eye on who was in and out. We had to clean out the fitting rooms whenever they're done. We had to like spray them down and wipe down like all the things that they could have touched, like the door handles, the chairs, the like, I don't know. It was a lot, and it was. I don't want to say it's unnecessary because it probably was necessary. But if you worked there, you were just standing in front of the fitting room for 8 hours. You're standing there. So I'd have I listened to podcasts too when I was working there, and I'd spend a lot of time. When I'd have the time, because we had our little earpieces in, so I'd hear they check in, be like, okay, can we have backup on register, blah, blah, blah. And I would just sit there and wait. I'd usually be sitting in the very last fitting room in the back. And I'd just be sitting there until I hear possibly someone being like, what's the status on the women's fitting rooms? And I'd be like, I'm cleaning them out right now. And then I'd walk out and be like, yeah, see, I was cleaning one. You have no proof. And there were no cameras or anything in there, so they couldn't see me. And I never got caught. At least I don't think I did. If I did, they never got mad at me.
Well, that's the thing that I think is the most annoying about so many jobs is just like the idea of busy work. It's like, I know that you finished everything that you're supposed to do, but actually, how about you just wait? So like one way that I cut corners a lot was back at the retirement home, we were supposed to vacuum our section every night. Even under tables that you didn't have in case, there's something down there, somebody dropped something, you rolled under, somebody kicked something under there, whatever. So you're always supposed to vacuum. But the problem is there's like 10 servers in a dining hall, like a fairly large dining room, and 2 vacuums if they worked. So it's like, okay, well, I don't know what to do about this other than just wait for a vacuum. So what I would start doing is I'd just walk around and pick up anything that I actually saw on the floor. And then they'd be like, oh, Thomas, did you vacuum? And I'm like, yeah, I vacuumed. And in the entire time I did this over the course of genuinely like 4 years, I got caught doing that maybe twice. And they're like, I don't think you vacuumed, because I like missed something. I don't think you vacuumed. And I was like, oh, you're right. I forgot. And then I just wait and vacuum. But then all of that was undermined anyway because I ended up just loitering at the end of. I mean, anyone who works with me now knows that I'm usually one of the last people to leave the room. I just enjoy waiting and absorbing as much information in a location as I can. I'm like, oh, work meeting's done. Okay, I'll sit here and waiting for the last person to leave just to hang out. Because that says a lot about who I am as a person. But I just loiter at work.
You're a workaholic now.
Yeah. But the thing is I'm like, I'll just stick around if someone needs me, and that pads out the paycheck. At the other job, I don't do that as much now because I'm busy. But
working smarter, not harder. You're either working hard or hardly working.
Often hardly working.
Yeah.
At service jobs. Anyway.
Service jobs, not here.
Not here.
Yeah, retail jobs. The key is just figuring out how to hide. That's literally like how to survive.
That's literally what it is. I had like my sitting
survive
spots
otherwise.
at Kohl's because they didn't have, not Kohl's, they didn't have like,
I used to.
they didn't have
They
seats.
didn't
Like I
have
asked, I was like,
seats.
hey, should we have like seats outside of the fitting room because people, need to sit down when they're
wait
waiting.
on other
And they
people?
said no because then the people that work at the fitting rooms are more likely
To
to
go
sit,
sit.
and it'll make us look unprofessional. I'm like, I'm unprofessional because I need to sit down.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm human.
Oh
How dare
no,
I?
like
I'll just stand up when people walk up, and maybe I can sit down when no one's here.
yeah. Or if
Yeah.
like someone needs a chair, I'll be like, hey, do you need this chair? You can sit down. I don't need it. I'm just been here for a while.
At the very least, have like a stool or something so you can look present. But I don't know. I hate the idea. If you're not standing, you're not working. If you're not looking busy, then you're not working.
If you have time to lean, you have time to clean.
Yep.
That's why I couldn't. I was gonna say that's why I couldn't work at Quick Trip. I know at Quick Trip it's all about you have to stand there and like literally be good at standing there and not moving. for like 8 hours.
Ew.
I used to work with this kid who'd literally hide in like a chemical closet, which is surely bad for his health. But we'd be like, oh, where did he go? Like, we've got like a bunch of tables that need to be bussed. Like, where did he go? And we'd just open the chemical closet, and he'd literally be like crouched down in there. Like, it wouldn't have been comfortable. I'm like, this is better than like just wiping off a table. And then later on at the retirement home job, I got used to people just like having, like, it was very normalized for people to just have like a full-on mental breakdown in the dry storage. And
I've heard that's very common in food service.
Go?
People have panic attacks in the freezer or like in the back in the
That's true.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
I've worked in a lot of like kitchens, and pretty much everyone goes in the cooler room to like either slack off or they're losing it in there.
Yeah.
So if you see someone in there, you might as well just wait a little bit. Just give it like 5 minutes, come back, you can get what you need.
If there's definitely like a minimum period of if they're in there for longer than this time, then it's a problem, but I'm going to give them a little bit of space.
Yeah.
They need their dry storage time.
Do you have any ways that you cut corners out of your jobs?
Retail is definitely hiding. I was gonna say, it was just crazy. I was mentioning like managers. I just wanted to say a little story about that. Working at Pizza Hut, we went through so many different head managers, because staying as a head manager at Pizza Hut, you're probably not gonna do that for long. And so I had a new head manager come in, and he was just the worst. I just hated him. And one day he broke down, and he was just sitting outside, just, oh my gosh. And I was delivering pizza, so I walked outside, had my pizza. I saw him sitting over there crying. I was like, I'm gonna just go to my car. Took my delivery, came back, he was still sitting there. I'm like, dang, he's right by the door. He's gonna see me, like. And I just walked over, and he looked up at me, and he was so sad, and I was just like, no, I'm not here to,
I'm not your therapist, I'm busy, I'm making money, I can't.
Literally,
I
was
paid.
Don't get paid enough to deal with your problems.
Sorry, I'm not your therapist today, buddy.
Yeah, he definitely gave me that look, and I just was like,
it's like, I need someone to talk to. Well, that sucks.
Sorry, bro.
You go to the break room like everybody else.
I mean, before we wrap up, I think it's important to mention that every place that I've worked, while there's always the bad days, I've always had like a pretty good group of people that I work with. There's always, there's always the coworkers who like, there's always that group of people that is like, I can rely on this.
That makes the job bearable.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when you get scheduled to people that are competent, oh my god, it's the best feeling.
Man, there used to be a dream team of people that I worked with where it's like, oh, that's who's on the roster tonight? It's going to be an easy day. And
we're going to be so
the
efficient.
Other ones.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Do we?
No, it's not you guys.
Oh.
You guys are all great.
Oh.
But anyways, that's going to be all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another episode of Friendly Fire. As always, you've been Sam.
You've been Thomas.
For the most part.
I've been Izayah.
And I've been Noah.
Have you? Making sure.
Tune in next time. We're going to be talking about something else. See you around.
Bye.